Good morning students, welcome to the English class. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic of the English grammar, that is tenses. And you all are quite familiar of it and you all are studying it from the primary classes. So let us first of all see the chart of tenses. And as we all know that there are three types of tenses. First is present tense, then past tense and then future tense. And after this bifurcation, present, past and future, individually all these three tenses are having four subparts. Let us see that here in the present tense, it is having simple present tense, then present continuous tense, then present perfect and present perfect continuous tense. In the same manner, past tense is also having the simple past tense, simple past tense, then past continuous tense, then past perfect tense, then past perfect continuous tense. And in the same manner, future tense is also having all these four bifurcations. That is, first is simple future tense, then future continuous, then future perfect, and then future perfect continuous. Now let us see them one by one, discuss them. Okay. Now first is simple present tense. Let us see where to use it, how to use it, and when to use it, and what are the basic rules of it. Okay. And before discussing the simple present tense, we all must know the three persons of the grammar. First person includes I in the singular form and we in the plural form. And in the second person, you is being used in both singular and plural form. And in the third person, he, she and it are used for the singular form and they is used for the plural form. So these all are the three persons that we will discuss in the rules of tenses. So be careful about them. When I say along with any tense that first person plus this, second person plus this, then don't get confused. Okay. Now let us discuss the simple present tense. So when in the subject I, we, you or they is there, then helping verb do will be there, and if the subject will be he, she and it are there or any name in place of them, then does helping verb will be there, and after this the main verb will be used and the first form of that main verb will be used. Okay. Now let us discuss about the uses of present tense, simple present tense. So the simple present tense is used to denote all the habitual actions and the action that takes place immediately. Okay. So for the habitual actions and immediate actions, we use simple present tense. Okay. And here you all must know the formula of simple present tense, that is subject plus helping verb plus main verb, and the main verb will be used in the first form. Okay. Then in affirmative sentences, affirmative means the simple sentences, subject is I, we, you, they, then the helping verb will be do and the main verb will be there. Okay. Then if the subject will be he, she and it, then the helping verb will be does and the main verb in its first form will be used. But in the negative sentences, some changes are required so that the sentence can be recognized as negative one. So if the subject I, we, you and they are there, then do along with do not will be used, means the helping verb will take not also, means not, then the main verb will be there, as you can see here in the slide. And if the subject is he, she or it, then it will take not with the does helping verb and then main verb will be there. So these are the basic rules for simple present tense. So you all just remind that for the negative contractions, do plus not can be shortly written as don't and does plus not can be written in short form as doesn't. And in the affirmative sentences, as I have told you, the simple formula will be followed, that is if I, we, you and they are there, then do helping verb will be used along with the main verb, and if he, she or it are there, then does helping verb will be used along with the main verb. And if the question sentences are there, if an interrogative sentence is there, then first of all the helping verb will come, do will come along with I, we, you, they, and does will come along with he, she or it. But keep in mind that after the subject main verb will be there, and before the subject helping verb will be there in the interrogative sentences. Now let us discuss the keywords of simple present tense. The keywords of simple present tense are everyday, daily, mostly, generally, usually, casually, normally, regularly, always, often, rarely, sometimes, seldom, hardly, on Sunday, ever, never, first and then. All these etc. All these are the keywords. Means if you will find these words in a sentence, then you can easily recognize that they are the simple present tense. Let us talk about where it is used. So basically we are discussing its usage. So the simple present tense is used for all habitual actions, or an action that always happens, or future planned action, proverbs, saying of a great person, historical events, universal truths, or conditional clauses. So all these are the usage of simple present tense. Now let us talk about the second part of present tense, that is present continuous tense. So here the helping verb will be changed. Along with the subjects I, am helping verb will be used. Then the first form of the verb will be used along with ing. Okay? And if the subjects are we, you or they, means plural, then are helping verb will be used, and after that first form of the verb plus ing will be used. And if the subjects are he, she or it, or we can say the singular third person are there, then is helping verb will be there along with the first form of verb plus ing will be included in the sentence. Okay. Now let us see its formula. Then first of all the subject will be there, then helping verb, then main verb plus ing. Okay. Or we can say the ing form of the verb will be used. Okay, and what is its usage? It denotes an action that is happening now, a live action, means what you can see that it is going on, means this particular work is going on. At that time the present continuous tense is being used. Now let us discuss the verb forms in the present continuous tense. So first form is speak, then plural form of speak is speaks, then continuous form or ing form is speaking, then second form is spoke, and third form is spoken. Okay, and in the same manner I have taken another word, that is shine. Es or s form is shines, then ing form is shining, then second form is shown, and third form of this verb is shown. Okay, so the formula is of present continuous tense is, I have told you earlier also, that is subject plus helping verb plus main verb plus ing form. Okay, so let us discuss some of the examples to make it more clear. That is, I am speaking English. So I is subject here, am is helping verb, and speaking is the main verb. Then English is the object. And in the second sentence, you are speaking English. So you is the subject, then helping verb are is here, and then the main verb, that is speaking, and English will be treated as the object. Now let's see the third sentence. She is speaking English. So here she is the subject, then is the helping verb, speaking is the main verb, means first form of the verb plus ing, then English is the object. Okay, so this is all about the present continuous tense. Now let us discuss about the affirmative sentences. Now let us discuss, if in the affirmative sentence, if the subject is I, then helping verb am will be used and main verb with ing will be used. And if the subject is we, you or they, then are helping verb will use along with them, then the main verb plus ing. And if the subject is he, she or it, then the helping verb will be used and main verb will be the main verb plus ing. Okay. And in the negative sentences, the helping verb will remain same, but not will come along with the helping verb. Suppose along with I, am and not plus main verb plus ing. In the same manner, we, you, they, then we will use are with them and not to make it negative, and then main verb. And after that, he, she, it. And if he, she or it is there in the subject, then is will be used as the helping verb along with not to make it negative and the main verb plus ing. Now let us see the negative contractions and positive contractions in present continuous tense. So am plus not will be written as amn't, and are plus not as aren't, and is plus not as isn't. Okay. Then in the positive form, I plus am will be written am, we plus are we are. So in these forms you just can see that the short form of these things, or we can say the contraction form, will be used. Now let us see the difference between the affirmative sentence plus question, means interrogative sentences. So if the subject is I, then helping verb am will be used along with it, and then the main verb plus ing form. And if the subject is we, you or they, then helping verb are will be used along with the main verb plus ing. And if the subjects are the third person singular, that is he, she or it, then helping verb is will be used along with that, and the main verb plus ing form will be used in the present continuous tense. And if the statement is or sentence is interrogative one, means the question sentence is there, then the helping verb will come in the first part in place of the subject, and subject will take the place of helping verb. So am will come first, then I, then the main verb plus ing will be there. And in the same manner, are, we, you or they plus the main verb plus ing, and is, first of all is, then he, she, it, then the main verb, then automatically the sentence will become the interrogative one. Now let us move towards the present continuous keywords. So by looking towards these words in a sentence, you can easily recognize that the particular sentence is in continuous part of the tense. Look, listen, at the moment, at present, presently, now, right now, and etc. Okay. So keep this in mind, and it is used to express an action that is happening at the moment of speaking, means the live action, or happening around the moment of speaking. It means not live action, but it is happening right now. Okay. And going to happen in future, so definitely if it will definitely takes place, therefore we usually say that we are going for holiday this winters. Okay, so means definitely it is going to take place in the future. So irritating the speaker, so happens more number of times, then also this tense is being used. Okay, now let us move towards present perfect tense. So here you just keep in mind that the subjects are the same, I, we, you, they, he, she and it, but the helping verb will change. So you just notice that has helping verb is used only with the third person singular, that is he, she or it, and with rest of the other subjects, that is I, we, you or they, have helping verb will be used, and then the main verb will be used, and the third form of that main verb will be used along with it. So what will be the formula for present perfect tense? subject plus helping verb plus third form of the main verb. Then what is its usage? It denotes an action that happened already, recent past action. Okay, now let us move forward. Present perfect forms of the verb, as I have discussed earlier also, that basically three forms of verbs are there: first form, second form and third form, plus the fourth form is considered as the use of s or es along with the main verb, and the fifth form is ing is been used with the first form of the verb. Okay, now let us see the formula along with the example. If I say that I have spoken English, so the subject will be I, helping verb will be have, and main verb will be spoken, means the third form of speak, spoken English. So the sentence will become I have spoken English. And let us take another example, that is he has spoken English. So along with he, as he is the third person singular, therefore has helping verb will be used along with it, and the sentence will become he has spoken English. Here also the third form of the main verb will be used. Now let us see what is the formation of the sentence in affirmative sentence, means the simple sentences, and in the negative sentences. So in the affirmative sentences, the helping verb will be used, as I have told you earlier in the rule, that along with the subjects I, we, you or they, have helping verb will be used, and with he, she or it, has helping verb will be used, and the third form of the main verb will be used in the last. And in the negative sentences, if I, we, you and they are there, then the helping verb have is used along with not to make it negative, and then the third form of the main verb will be used. And if the subjects are he, she or it, then helping verb has will be used along with them, and to make it negative, not will be used along with has, and then main verb's third form will be used. Now let's see the negative contractions and positive contractions. Have not will be written as haven't, and has not will be written as hasn't. I have, we have, you have, they have, he has, she has, and it has will be written like this, as you can see on the screen. Now let us see the change in the interrogative sentences in present perfect tense. So affirmative sentences I have already discussed that the subject plus helping verb has or have will be used, and then the main verb's third form. And in the interrogative sentences, we just bring the main helping verb in the front, then the subject, and then the main verb, as usual as we do in the present simple, continuous, and similar we will do in the present perfect tense also. Let me show you some of the keywords of present perfect tense, that is recently, already, just now, just before, so far, since, for, how long, and etc. means such type of words are usually used in present perfect tense, so you can easily recognize a sentence. Now let us move towards the use of present perfect tense. And we all know that it is used to express an action that happened already in the past, happened recently using adverb of time, or happened once or a number of times earlier. So these all are the situations where present perfect tense can be used. Now let us talk about present perfect continuous tense. So earlier we have seen the three parts of simple present tense. This is the last one. And you just see, when the subjects I, we, you or they will be there, then the helping verb have been will be used, then main verb. Okay. And if the subjects will be he, she or it, then the helping verb has been will be used with it. Okay. So the formula will be subject plus helping verb, then the main verb plus ing form of the verb. And what is its usage? It denotes an action that has started in the past until it is happening. Now let us see the affirmative and negative use of it. So affirmative will have the same formula for the sentence, the same sentence formation, that subject plus helping verb then the main verb. And in the negative, what we are going to use, we will use not with the helping verb. So if the subject will be I, we, you and they, then the helping verb have not been will be used, and then the main verb. And if the subject will be he, she or it, then has not been helping verb will be used, and then the main verb. Now we will discuss about the affirmative and interrogative structure of a sentence. Okay, so affirmative will remain the same sentence structure for the simple sentence. Then in the interrogative structure, the helping verb will come in the first position. So first of all, what will be the sentence structure? First of all, we will use the helping verb, then the subject, and then the main verb. Only we have to keep in mind that which helping verb we have to use. We have to use have been along with the subject I, we, you or they, and has been with the he, she and it, and after that the main verb. Let's talk about the keywords to be used with the present perfect continuous tense, that they are since, for, lately, whole, how long, and such sort of words are being used along with the present perfect continuous tense. And this tense is used to express an action that happened already in the past, happened recently using adverb of time, happened once or a number of times earlier. And it is also used at the started in the past and still going on along with those sentences also. And if time is not given, it means lately. Okay. Now let us talk about simple past tense. Let us discuss the sentence structure of simple past tense. So if the subjects will be I, we, you and they, then the helping verb did will be used, and that is, and the main verb means main verb will be the second form of the verb. Okay. So this we all have to keep in mind, that the past form of the verb is only used in the simple past tense, and its uses is it denotes an action that happened already in the past, any completed action in the past. Now let's talk about the verb forms. As you know that the first form of speak is speak. Then when we put the s or es, it becomes a plural form of it, and when ing word is being used along with it, then it becomes a continuous form. And if we add the past form with it, that is called the second form of the verb. Then the past participle, that is called the third form of the verb. So if we say I did spoke English, its sentence structure will be the past simple tense. So I, it will be the subject, then helping verb will be did. Did is the past form of do. Then main verb means spoke English. Now let's discuss the affirmative and structure of the sentence in the simple past tense. So if the subject in simple past tense will be I, we, you or they, then the helping verb did will be used in the simple past tense, and then the main verb. And if the subject will be he, she or it, then helping verb did will be used along with the main verb. Okay. Then in the negative sentence, we all know that not word will be used. So the sentence structure will remain same, only along with the helping verb we will use not. Okay. So if the subject will be I, we, you or they, then or with he, she or it also, we will use the helping verb did, not, and then the main verb. Means negative contraction will be did not, so we can call it didn't also. Now let's talk about the simple and interrogative structure of the past simple sentence. So simple we have discussed already, and now let us discuss about the interrogative structure. So in the interrogative structure, you all know that helping verb will come first, and after that the subject, and then the main verb. So here the helping verb will be did. So in all the questions of the sentences of past simple, did will come first, then the subject, and then the main verb. Let's see the keywords of simple past tense. Yesterday, the day before, last day, previous day, last. In means the past year, as here written 2016, in December, ago, on Sunday at 3 p.m., etc. Okay, so these all are the keywords of simple past tense. Let's see its uses. And it is used to express an action that happened in the past with time, and an action that happened over a period of time in the past. A set of past actions that happened one after the another. Okay. Now let's see the sentence structure of past continuous tense. So in the past continuous tense, if the subjects will be I, we, you, or they, then the helping verb was will be used with I, and were will be used with the you, we, or they subject, and after that the main verb. And if the subjects will be he, she, or it, means third person singular, then the helping verb was will be used, and after that the main verb. So what will be the formula for present continuous tense? That will be subject plus helping verb plus main verb, and ing form of that main verb will be used. Let's see its usage. It denotes an action that was happening at some time in the past. So this is all the sentence structure of past continuous tense. Let us see the verb forms. We all know that verbs are having 5 forms. That is, first is the first form, second form, third form, and then the S or ES form, and then the ing form. Okay. So if I say I was speaking English, then I will be the subject, was will be helping verb, and then speaking will be the main verb. As we are studying past continuous tense, therefore ing form of speak verb will be used. And if I say you were speaking English, then were helping verb will be used, and with the main verb ing form will be used. Now let's see the affirmative and negative sentence structure of past continuous tense. So we all know in the affirmative sentence structure, the simple sentence structure will be followed, and in the negative we will use not along with the helping verb. As you can say here, if I say I was speaking English, if I want to make it negative, then I will use I was not speaking English. Okay, so this will become the negative sentence structure of the past continuous tense. Let's see the negative contraction. If we want to use was not in short form, then we will say wasn't, and if we want to use were not in short form, then we will say weren't. Now let's talk about if we want to make an interrogative sentence for past continuous tense, then we all know in the earlier tenses also, we all know that whenever we want to make a question, then we have to put the helping verb first in the place of subject, and then the subject will go on the place of the helping verb. So similarly we will follow the same rule here also. If the affirmative sentence is I was speaking English, so what will be the question? Was I speaking English? So the helping verb will come in the place of subject, means it will come at the first place. Okay, let's see some of the keywords of past continuous tense. that is yesterday, the day before, last day, previous day, we call all these things to yesterday also. Then last, in 2014, in June, ago, on Monday, at 3 p.m., while, when, by, and the words like this can be used in past continuous tense. Let's see its usage. So it is used to express an action that was happening at some time in the past, and an action that happened suddenly when something was in progress. And we can also use it in when two actions were taking at a time in the past. Let's talk about past perfect tense. So let us see the sentence structure of it. So if the subject will be I, we, you, they, he, she, or it, means if any subject will be there, then we will use only one kind of helping verb, that will be had. And after that the main verb, and in the verb we will use the third form of the verb. Okay, so very simple sentence structure it is having. So let us see its usage. It denotes an action that had happened before something else in the past. Now let's take one example. The sentence structure, we all know that in past perfect will be subject plus helping verb plus main verb, means in the main verb the third form of the verb will be used. If a sentence is there that I had spoken English, then I will be the subject and had will be helping verb, and spoken is the third form of speak. So spoken English means third form of the verb will be used. And if I will say that he had spoken English, means the similar helping verb will be used. Similar, the third form of the verb will be used in past perfect tense. Now let's see the affirmative and negative sentence structure of past perfect tense. So affirmative, we all know that is subject plus helping verb. Same helping verb had will be used, and the third form of the verb will be used. And if we talk about the negative one, then along with the helping verb we will use not, and then the main verb, means that the third form of the verb will be used in this tense. So let us talk about one subject, one sentence. So if I say they had spoken English, or if I want to make it negative, then I will say they had not spoken English. Now let's see the negative and positive contraction forms. So had not can be called hadn't, I had, I'd, we had, we'd, then you had, you'd, then they had, they'd, and he had, he'd, then she had, she'd, and it had, it'd. So these are the contraction forms, negative and positive both. Now let's see how can we make an interrogative sentence out of the simple sentence in past perfect tense. So a simple sentence we were talking about is I had spoken English. So if I want to make it an interrogative, then I will use the helping verb at the place of subject, then had I spoken English. Okay, so this will be the interrogative sentence for this tense. Let us see the keywords of past perfect tense. So before, after, never, just, by the time, for, these all are the keywords for past perfect tense. Now let's see its usage, that this tense is used to express an action that had happened before something else in the past, and a past unfulfilled wish. Now let's discuss past perfect continuous tense. Let's see the sentence structure of past perfect continuous tense. So along with any of the subject, means I, we, you, they, he, she, or it, we will use the same helping verb had, and along with that helping verb we will use been, and then the main verb. Then in the main verb we will use the ing form of the verb. So this will be the sentence structure for past perfect continuous. So the formula will be subject plus helping verb plus main verb plus ing form. Okay, so let's see its usage. It denotes an action that started in the past, continued up to something in the past, and ended in the past only. Now let's take an example. If I say that I had been speaking English, then the subject will be I, then helping verb will be had been, and the main verb will be speaking English. So here along with the main verb we will use ing form. Okay, then if I say he had been speaking English, so along with he also we are using the same helping verb, that is had. Okay, now let's see how can we make an affirmative sentence of past perfect continuous into negative. So students, you all have understood, I hope, that how can we make it negative. So we will use had not been. Okay, means not along with the helping verb. So if I say that I had been speaking English, then if I want to make it negative, then I will say I had not been speaking English. Okay. In the same manner, if I want to make the simple sentence into an interrogative one, then what we are going to do is we will put the helping verb in the place of subject. So had been I speaking English. So this will become the interrogative sentence of that simple sentence. What was that? I had been speaking English. This past perfect continuous tense is used to express an action that started in the past, continued up to something in the past, and ended in the past only. Means now it is not going on. And it is also used to express an action that had been there in progress before something else in the past. Now let us see the third tense, that is, earlier we have read about present tense, past tense, and now let's talk about the third tense, that is the future tense. And the first part of future tense is simple future tense. Let's talk about it. Now let's see the sentence structure of simple future tense. That is, if the subject is I or we, then the helping verb shall will be used, and then the main verb. In the main verb, the first form of the verb will be used. Okay. And if the subject will be you, they, he, she, or it, then the helping verb will be used, and the first form of the verb will use. Okay. So the formula will be subject plus helping verb plus main verb. In the main verb, the first form of the verb will be used, and its usage is it denotes an action that will happen in future. Means for the prediction, this tense, this part of future tense is used. Now let me discuss an example. If I say I shall speak English, means here I will be the subject, shall will be helping verb, and the speak English, speak will be the first form of the verb as main verb. Then if I say he will speak English, so he is subject, will is helping verb, and speak, the main verb, in the main verb first form of the verb is used. Now let's see how can we make a simple sentence of future simple into the negative one. So we all know, everyone, that we have to use not along with the helping verb. So here the helping verbs are will or shall. So we will use not along with will or shall, and then our sentence will become negative. So let us see. If I say I shall not speak English, so this will become the negative sentence of I shall speak English. Or if I say we will not speak English, it means it will be the negative sentence of we will speak English. Okay. Let us see the negative contraction and positive contractions of the future simple words. If we say shall not, then we will say shan't. Or if we will say will not, then won't. If I say I shall, then I'll. And if we say we shall, then will. And if I say you will, then we will call it you will. And then if we say they will, then we will say they will. Okay, so in such a form we will make the contraction form of these words. Let us talk about the interrogative form of future simple sentence. Our sentence was I will speak English. So we all know that whenever we just change it into interrogative one, then we will put the helping verb in the place of subject, means on the first place. So if I say I will speak English, then if I want to make it an interrogative one, then I will say will I speak English or shall I speak English. Let's see the keywords for simple future tense. They are tomorrow, and for tomorrow we can also use next day, following day, the day after, or next, in 2015, in June, after, on Monday, at 1 p.m. Such sort of words we can use for the simple future tense. Let us see its usage. It is used to express an action that will happen in some indefinite time in future, or it is also used with an action that will happen in some definite time in future. Now let's talk about future continuous tense, which is the second part of future tense. Let us see where do we use it, how can we use it, and what is its sentence structure. First of all, let's see that what is the formula for using future continuous tense. So if the subject is I or we, then along with the helping verb be will also be used. So, and the main verb, ing form of verb will be used. So if I say I shall be speaking English, so that will be in the future continuous tense. Or if the subjects are you, they, he, she, or it, then helping verb will be used along with the ing form of verb. So the formula for future continuous tense will be subject plus helping verb plus ing form of the main verb. So its usage will be, it denotes an action that will be happening at some time in future. Let's take an example. If I'll say I shall be speaking English, so I will be the subject, then shall be will be helping verb, and speaking English will be the main verb. As we know that if we want to make a simple sentence into the negative one, so we will use not along with the helping verb. So if I want to change a sentence which is in future continuous tense, that I shall be speaking English, then I will use not along with shall be. So how can the sentence will be? So I shall not be speaking English. This will be the sentence structure of a negative sentence in future continuous tense. In the same manner, if I want to change a simple sentence of future continuous into the interrogative one, then I will put the helping verb in the place of subject, means at the first place. So if I want to say I will be speaking English, then I will put will be on the first place. So will I be speaking English? This will be the sentence structure of an interrogative sentence in future continuous tense. Let us see some of the keywords used in future continuous tense. Tomorrow, and for tomorrow we can use next day, the following day, the day after, or next, after, on, Monday. Some sort of words we can use for future continuous tense. Let us see its usage. So future continuous tense is used to express an action that will be happening in some indefinite time in future. Now let's discuss future perfect tense, which is the third part of future tense. So the sentence structure or future perfect tense is I plus shall have plus the third form of the verb. So if what will be the formula for it? Subject plus helping verb plus third form of the verb. Okay, so what is its usage? It denotes an action that already have happened in future. Let's see the example of it. If I say I shall have spoken English, so in this sentence I will be the subject, shall have will be helping verb, and spoken English will be the main verb. So spoken is the third form of speak. So here third form of the verb will be used. So if I want to change a simple sentence into a negative one, I will use not along with the helping verb. So if a simple sentence is I shall have spoken English, then I will use not along with the helping verb shall have. Then the sentence will ultimately become negative. So the sentence will be I shall have not spoken English. So this will be the negative form of future perfect continuous tense. Future perfect tense. In the same manner, if I want to change a simple sentence into an interrogative one, so I will use the helping verb in place of the subject, means on the first place. So in the sentence we will have spoken English, we will use will have we spoken English. So this will become the interrogative form of future perfect tense. Let us see some of the key words used in future perfect tense. They are when, by the time, by next day, by next week, by next month, by next year, by the end of, for. So such kind of words are used in future perfect tense. This future perfect tense is used to express an action that will already have happened in future and will happen before another action in future. So these are the use or uses of future perfect tense. Now let's talk about the last part of future tense, that is future perfect continuous tense. Let us talk about it. What is the formula for it? What is its usage? And what are the keywords which indicate the future perfect continuous tense? In future perfect continuous tense, subject, if the subject is I or we, then the helping verb will be shall have been, and then the main verb, ing form of main verb will be used. And in the same manner, if the subjects are you, they, he, she or it, then the helping verb will have been will be used and ing form of the main verb will be there. So the formula will be subject plus helping verb plus main verb. In the main verb, ing form of verb will be used. So its usage is, it denotes an action that will be there in progress after some time in future. Let us take its example. If I say I shall have been speaking English, so here I will be the subject, shall have been will be the helping verb, and speaking English will be the main verb. So here speaking, in the speaking, the ing form of the verb is used. If we want to change a simple sentence of future perfect continuous tense, then not will used along with the helping verb as usual. So if the simple sentence is I shall have been speaking English, then we will use not along with shall have been. So in the sentence, if we want to make it negative, we will use I shall have not been speaking English. So this will be the negative form of this sentence. In the similar manner, if we want to change a simple sentence into interrogative one, as usual, the helping verb will come in place of the subject. So here the helping verb is shall have been. So shall have been will come in the place of subject, and after that helping verb we will use the subject. So the sentence will become shall have been I speak in English. Okay, so this will be the interrogative form of this sentence. Let's see the keywords used in future perfect continuous tense. And they are when, by the time, by next day, by next week, by next month, by next year, by the end of. Such kind of words are used in future perfect continuous tense. Let us see its usage. It is used to express an action that will continue up until a particular time. So this is all future perfect continuous tense. So here we have completed complete future tense also. So in this manner the complete tenses are being finished. So students, this is all the tenses. I hope you all have understood the various structures of various tenses, the keywords used in them, and along with the example. So practice them, learn all the rules. It will help you everywhere whenever you will use the grammar. So I hope you all have understood the tenses. Practice it. Thank you.